The office building stood like a glass giant against the night sky, glowing faintly as the last of the employees trickled out. For most, the workday had ended. But for Daniel Carter, it was just beginning. Daniel adjusted the worn straps of his cleaning cart as he stepped through the revolving doors. His reflection stared back at him, tired eyes, a faded uniform, and the quiet weight of responsibility resting on his shoulders. He wasn't just a cleaner. He was a father. And everything he did, every late night, every aching muscle, was for his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. Just a few more hours, buddy, he whispered to himself, as if trying to convince his own body to keep going. Earlier that evening, Lily had hugged him tightly before he left. "Daddy, will you be home before I wake up?" she asked. Daniel forced a smile. "Always." But the truth? He wasn't sure how much longer he could keep this up. After losing his engineering job a year ago, life had spiraled fast. Bills piled up. Interviews led nowhere. And when savings ran dry, Daniel took the only job he could find, a night cleaning position at one of the biggest tech companies in the city. Ironically, he now cleaned the offices of people doing the job he once loved. As Daniel pushed his cart across the polished floors, the silence of the building wrapped around him. No chatter. No meetings. Just the hum of machines and the occasional flicker of fluorescent lights. He started on the 14th floor, executive offices. Most cleaners avoided this floor. It was spotless already, maintained by strict standards. But Daniel didn't mind. In fact, he liked it. It reminded him of who he used to be. As he wiped down desks and emptied trash bins, something caught his eye. A monitor left on. Daniel paused. On the screen was a complex dashboard, charts, error logs, and a blinking red notification. Years of experience kicked in instantly. "System failure, data sync issue," he murmured, stepping closer. He hesitated. This wasn't his job anymore. But something inside him wouldn't let it go. He leaned in, scanning the logs. The problem wasn't obvious, but Daniel's mind began connecting dots, just like it used to. A small misconfiguration. A cascading error. A system that had been failing silently for weeks. Daniel exhaled slowly. "I know this." He looked around. Empty. No one would notice if he just walked away. But he didn't. Carefully, he sat down. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. "Just a quick look," he whispered. Minutes turned into an hour. Daniel analyzed the system, tracing the error through layers of code. Whoever built this had missed something small, but critical. Finally, he found it. A single flawed logic condition. He smiled faintly. This is it. He didn't have access to fix it permanently, but he documented everything. Step by step. Clear. Precise. Like the engineer he once was. He printed the notes and left them neatly on the desk. Then he stood up, grabbed his cart, and went back to cleaning, like nothing had happened. But something had changed. For the first time in months, Daniel didn't feel invisible. The next morning, the office buzzed with confusion. What happened? How did the error disappear? Who fixed this? The system that had been causing millions in losses was suddenly stable. And on the desk, Daniel's notes. Clear, detailed, and undeniably brilliant. The CEO, Mr. Adrian Wolf, stood silently, reading every word. "Who wrote this?" he asked sharply. No one knew. Security footage was pulled. And there he was. A night cleaner. Sitting at the desk. Fixing what an entire team of engineers couldn't. That night, Daniel returned to work like always, head down, unnoticed. Until he heard a voice behind him. "Daniel Carter?" He turned. Standing there was the CEO himself. Daniel froze. Sir. I can explain. You already did, the CEO interrupted, holding up the notes. Silence. Daniel braced himself. I wasn't trying to. Why are you working as a cleaner? The CEO asked. The question hit harder than any accusation. Daniel hesitated. Life happened, he said quietly. The CEO studied him for a moment. Then something unexpected happened. He smiled. Come with me. Confused, Daniel followed him upstairs. Into a conference room. Within minutes, executives gathered. Gentlemen, the CEO said, placing the notes on the table, meet the man who solved our biggest problem. All eyes turned to Daniel. A cleaner. Standing in a room he once belonged to. Walk us through your solution, the CEO said. Daniel swallowed. But then, something clicked. He stepped forward. And began explaining. Confidence returned. Clarity returned. Passion returned. By the time he finished, the room was silent. Not with doubt. With respect. The CEO leaned back. I've spent months looking for someone who thinks like this, he said. Turns out, he was already here. Daniel's heart pounded. Daniel Carter, the CEO continued, how would you like your old life back, and a better one? Tears filled Daniel's eyes. Not for himself. But for Lily. Yes, he said softly. That night, Daniel didn't go home exhausted. He went home transformed. When Lily woke up the next morning, Daniel was there, making breakfast. Daddy? You're home early. He knelt down, hugging her tightly. Yeah, he whispered. And things are going to be different now. Because sometimes the world doesn't see your worth. Until you remind it.